Great. So you've been with us from the beginning of My Speaker Rhetoric, right?
Yes, that's true.
What was your first impression when you joined?
Well, I've got to say that I was really impressed by the idea of combining technology and something so abstract as public speaking. And I didn't know what to sort of expect because it seemed like a speaking course, of course, which I would be very interested in to learn from the best, like Andre and so on. It had some sort of social media side on it too, like the community where we could discuss ideas and share some tips. And then it also had this technology side. So I was very eager to find out what this all combines to, so to say.
Okay. And how did you feel when you first tested out the technology?
Well, to say the least, it was really interesting. It was really easy. So you had to sort of like record a speech and then just upload it for this robot to sort of make a what is it called, evaluation of what you said. And I actually found the first parts. So we were talking about your body language and so on, and these kind of things, which sort of machine learning things already know how to do. They were quite interesting, but then I wasn't expecting that the robot would give me points for articulation, punctuation, all of this kind of stuff. Then you had this other side of it, like the speech's relevance, and it seemed really amazing. I didn't really know in the beginning so what to make out of it. So to be quite honest,
it surprised you and you know, exceeded your expectations then.
Exactly. Very well put.
And have you had a look at the course? Like, what's your opinions on the Speaker Die course?
Well, that is excellent. So I have to say that it has taken into account all sides of public speaking, not only the content and you yourself as a presenter, but it talks about some argumentative things like what kind of points you should include in your speech. It talks about your breathing. And most of all, I found it really relevant because all of these things were connected to the robot. So I actually made the robot evaluation first, and I wasn't quite sure about the results or what should I think about. Then I went to the course, and now I sort of like understand that there's definitely some magic behind here. Like, you know, all these different dots connect into a bigger picture, which I'm able to understand better now that I've gone through the course.
Great. And have you had a look when we added the relevance videos and stuff to the first chapter, that there's video material now?
Yes. So this is one of the parts that I like a lot about rhetoric. So we can give feedback and things will change. So all of those videos were added there. We can throw up some ideas of let's have a meeting with each other and just like, you know, present and speak, and these kind of things happen. So I really like the interactiveness. I'm not sure what the right word is of that. Yes, of the whole community that we have over here.
Okay, and then what's your general opinion on the community itself? So we have the robot, the course, and then the community.
Yes, so the robot, I'm not really sure if I can evaluate him, her, or they, whatever they want to be called. But I have to say that you, of course, the course instructors, you have been, I feel that you're really close. You're asking about how it feels, what should we do, and so on. So I really feel like a human connection to all of you. And then, of course, my fellow rhetorical speaker people in the community, they are also very encouraging. It feels safe to be among them. It also feels very nice to share some ideas with them, get some feedback. It's an absolute pleasure, I would say.
That's wonderful to hear. And then lastly, how about the open mic? What's been your impression on the open mic? You got to finally present last week. So.
Yes, so I was able to take part in this open mic event where we would have a selected number of speakers giving their own speech, and then the others, the people who were listening to them, would be rating them based on the things that the robot already gave. So there was this relevance, persuasiveness, all of these kind of things that, you know, are sort of like abstract things that people are evaluating while listening to somebody who's speaking. And I found out that well, firstly, the event was very nice. I was able to listen to some really amazing stories from my fellow speakers. But more than that, I really liked the feedback environment. So now again, we had this really cool connection with technology. The things that the robot listed earlier, then I would read about them, but now I would actually have a live audience to set some sort of it's not an example, but rather like a reference points to what the robot gave, what I learned from it. And now I think I am able to evaluate those different scores on a deeper level, and also sort of like I think it was quite amazing to see that the robot scores were sort of like in the vicinity of what people gave. So it was really accurate. But again, I love your approach that it's not a robot that can give you all the answers, but you would need a human reference point, and from those two different sources you combine the actual end scores that you will have.
Yeah, that's great. I'm surprised to hear that. I didn't know that the scores from the robot kind of matched what the audience then thought of your speech as well.
Yeah, actually, so I just as like I got feedback from Andre on the robot, because he had the score, so he was looking through them, and for example, he was saying that the robot was evaluating my punctuation, my rhythm in a very high level, and then he sort of like even though the numbers are not the same, he said that we can see the same thing here with human scores, but then he was also giving me this constructive feedback about persuasiveness, what the robot thought about, what was the message of my speech, and so on. And then he could draw a line with the scores that the people gave me in this another speech. And he was able to sort of like raise a point that I should check out from the course, from the Speak or Die course, and read into that, and challenging me to maybe give another speech where I could employ that particular tip later on.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool. I think the open mics are really becoming a hit, and people enjoy that element of the community. So
they are really nice. I absolutely love them.
And who would you recommend My Speaker Rhetoric to? Who do you think should join our community?
Well, basically you could say anybody, but like if that's a bit too vast a definition, so to say, I would also say that it's quite self-evident for anyone who's interested in public speaking, anyone who wants to know more about what effective communication means, how you yourself can become a better presenter, all of these public speaking things and so on. But I would also like to recommend it to anyone who would like to take let's say, a trip to their soul. So if you have stories to tell, so now we're getting into the more general definition of storytellers, because we all are storytellers. We communicate in our everyday life with people. We talk about our experiences. Maybe we want to negotiate a pay rise or anything. So all of these tips that we go through with the robot, so evaluating you yourself as a speaker, your different skills and so on, the course itself, I think we can have many of those skills can be also applied in your everyday lives. So anyone who's interested in being a better communicator, I recommend the course to them, of course.
I agree with that. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the whole overall experience?
Well, again, as I said, it's like a soul-searching experience, which actually, in a way, even for me, because I've done a lot of public speaking, but I still feel that I am learning quite a lot, but I'm also challenging myself. So I feel that, at certain point, if you do something for a very long period of time, you start to stagnate at some point. You need to find different kind of inspirations that will take you to the next level. And for me, it has been for quite a long time that I haven't been able to find something so inspiring and something so challenging that would actually make me move forward. And now I've found it. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. That's so great to hear.